Hi guys, I'm Desiree.
And I'm Justine.
And this is Sippin and Dishin.
We sit down with our friends and get the latest dish, all while sipping on some yummy drinks.
We talk about the things in life that make you want to laugh or cry or even temporarily lose your shit.
We're real women.
This is real talk. And of course, it's real drinks. Welcome back to another episode of Sippin and Dishin. This is part 2 with Becky. Hey Becky.
Hi, guys. Long time no see.
If you're a true listener, you listened last time, you know what we're drinking, you know her 2 truths and lie. So your topic is surrogacy. I'm pretty excited about this one.
Yay. So I was a surrogate.
Multiple times.
I've done surrogacy twice now, 2 separate journeys. I had a little girl almost 4.5 years ago and a little boy 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, that's still fresh.
I know. That's what I was thinking, like how much it takes for your body to like heal and like.
It's been probably about 6 months since I felt like normal. Like hormones have leveled out.
Mm-hmm. And you've had no baby to take care of.
No baby.
I wonder how it feels
so much
healing
easier
without it.
It's so much easier. Like to go home from the hospital and you just go home. Yeah, like we stopped and bought a 6-pack and some food.
So you didn't have to breastfeed and give it to them or
the first time
whatever.
I pumped for about a month.
Okay.
The second time they live in France. So they
how does that even like how do you find a France person that like bonjour, I have my baby? Like how does that happen?
I worked with an agency and I kind of joke that she's like a matchmaker and she matches intended parents, which is the term for the baby's parents. And then I would be called a gestational carrier, which is what I was. Which is
I love how technical it is.
Like that's
I like that.
Like the true terms, because there's different types of surrogacy. There's traditional surrogacy, which is where you use your own embryo or your own egg, excuse me. And then there's
I didn't know.
Yeah, or like a gestational carrier, which is what I did, and I was just the incubator.
See, that's what I would be down to do. I would not.
I don't think I could do traditional surrogacy. I don't think that's right for me.
Yeah, I agree.
But with the gestational, it didn't even bother me.
You're
or
just the
faze
oven.
me. Yeah, I'm just the oven.
You get to cook it, yeah.
Baking their little bun, and then I hand them they get their bun at the end, and I'm like, bye, I'm going to go eat some cinnamon rolls and drink a beer, because I'm really...
Well, you don't got to breastfeed.
10 months.
Yeah, sometimes longer.
Okay, because I was going to ask you about that, because I had heard that some people do use their own egg, and like I know someone that recently did it for a gay couple of 2 men, so I was wondering like,
so they had to use their own egg.
Well, sometimes you can get it from a donor,
get donors.
Not just the person. But I was curious to ask. But
Yeah,
I'm like, is that nosy?
No. The first couple I carried for, I just want to make sure I don't like tell too much of their info or too much of their story. They are local to the area. They used their own embryo that is 100% biologically theirs. Mm-hmm. They had issues getting pregnant on their own. They had their son, but he was extremely premature. I think he was born at 28 weeks.
Oh, that's so early.
He's now 9
Wow.
and a healthy, awesome kid. He's my buddy. We're like best buddies, and we share chips because when I was pregnant with his sister, I craved salt and vinegar potato chips, and those are his favorite. So every time we were together, we would share a bag of chips. Yeah.
So that's completely different experiences, having like a local person versus someone in a completely different country.
They were 2 very,
so amazed
very different journeys. So, yeah. The first journey, our kids are only 2 years apart, maybe 3 years apart, 2.5. So it was different. Like her and I would get together and we'd take the kids to the park, and because we had children of
did you guys
age.
know each other before, or you became friends
We
after?
became friends.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
After. So how it works is I went to an agency and said, I want to be a gestational carrier. And she was like, okay. And they have you fill out this like long questionnaire. It's kind of like going on online dating, and you have to fill out like all your likes and dislikes and what you're okay with and not okay with. And
wow, so just this long list.
It really is like blind dates kind of.
And then know all your business.
Yeah, they want to know, you know, what your family life looks like, what your home life is, what do you do for work. I'm a hairdresser, so whoever I matched with had to be okay with the fact that I do work on my feet. Mm-hmm. I will be working on my feet the entire pregnancy. If that's something that concerns you, then I am not the person for them. Mm-hmm. Or that I had at the time a small child. If you were concerned about me picking up my 2-year-old to put her in her crib, I wouldn't be the one for you. Mm-hmm. Like, you had to be okay with the fact that I had a 2-year-old at home that still needed her mom. Mm-hmm. But sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, that's all right. So like when you're filling out this list, it's for the purposes of the like prospective parents to be able to go through and
the
look.
Intended parents. So they got my packet, and I remember telling my husband that I was like, if I don't get matched with someone in the next, you know, week, I'm gonna tell her to pull it, like, because you're kind of in limbo. You don't want to get like, you don't want to plan anything. Mm-hmm. You don't want to plan a vacation because you're like, what if I plan it and then I need to be at the doctor? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that next morning, I got an email, and she's like, I'm sending your packet to this couple. I think you guys would be a really good fit. If they like what they read, I will send you their packet.
Oh, so you get to read about them too?
And that night, I got their packet, and it had, you know, family pictures of them, and it explained what they did, their jobs, that she was a stay-at-home parent, and he worked at XYZ, and this is what he did, and they live in this town, and this is, you know, their story. And
that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
It was really cool. And then you like, so that was probably at the beginning of December, and then we emailed a couple times, and right in between Christmas and New Year's, we agreed to meet for dinner, and it was like such a blind date feeling. Like,
sounds like it is.
It really is. Like you.
So like both of you and your husband and her and her husband.
Yes, the four of us. We didn't have any kids at the dinner. It was just like an adult thing. And I remember being like, what do I wear? And then having to text her and be like, because we've only seen photos of each other. So I'm like, I'm wearing black boots and a red sweater. And she's like, I'm wearing a green sweater and brown boots. Like,
so it's probably the most nerve-wracking thing too, meeting them.
So nerve-wracking. And so like we met at a restaurant, and we were just talking, and we just hit it off, and they were super comfortable to chat with, and we just
vibed well. And her and I just kind of clicked, and she's one of my really, really good friends still. I actually get to go see her on Monday and that's so exciting.
Cut her daughter's hair, because I'm the only one that gets to cut it.
Wow, that's cool.
I'm Auntie Becky, and Auntie Becky cuts her hair,
and you get to see her grow up and stuff. That is so cool.
Yeah.
I do have a question. Like, so going into surrogacy the first time versus going into it the second time. So obviously the first time must be scary because everything's new.
Yes.
So how did that differ from going into the second time as a veteran?
I think the second time you go in just knowing, here's what I want or don't want. Like, I need to be in control of this. Or the first time, maybe when we would make appointments, I think I accommodated her schedule a lot when I would make my doctor's appointments, because she would come to all my appointments with me. And the second time I was like, my kid's bigger now. She goes to preschool. I can't, my schedule is very limited. Like, I can't accommodate someone else's schedule to make appointments.
Well, they didn't live here, right?
They did not. So for the second time, like, it didn't matter because.
But that was going to be on one of your lists.
It was like one of my things. And then like, I didn't love pumping. I pumped the first time for a month. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
I mean, just nursing a new baby is a lot. But I was getting up, you know, 4 times a night to pump.
It's so inconvenient while your body's healing.
Yeah. And I mean, when you have a baby, that's what you do. So it's kind of the norm. But then like, it's hard to just exclusively pump when you don't have a baby. There's not a baby to like tell your body.
And helping with all that.
Yes. And like, my daughter the first time she was 3 when I gave birth, and I swear we were potty training. She would have to go poop every single time I would put the pump on. So I would get hooked up, and you have to sanitize everything because this is like a little baby, and she had to do 2 weeks in the NICU, and so I was like not over sanitizing, but I was like sanitizing everything, and then
like it's a process.
Every single time I would hook up, Mom, I need help, and I'm like, are you kidding me? My husband would be at work, so then I would have to like unpump or unhook up, go in the bathroom, help her, and then like start the process over again. And then like you'd pump, and I have to pump for like 45 minutes because that's how my body rolls. And then I'd have to wash everything. And then, after I got done washing all my supplies, I have an hour, and then I need to pump again.
Well, I would not want to do that. Good to know.
It was a lot.
Does not make me want to do that again.
No. And it was hard, just like I was on maternity leave, and I wanted to take my daughter places to kind of get 6 weeks of stay-at-home mom life. And I'd be like, okay, let's go to the zoo. And then I'm like, well, how am I going to pump? So like I would like
time it just right.
Pump in the parking lot, or like, I did a lot of car pumping, And then I'd have like freezer bags and
to keep the milk good.
Or like, I knew we could only be gone for 2 hours. So if we're going to go grocery shopping, like we can't run another errand. We have 2 hours. Like I would pump, and we would literally like, I'd be pulling my shirt down as we walked out the door to get like as much time as humanly possible to be out. And then we'd come home, and I'd be like, okay, I got to pump right this minute.
So that experience made you know that you didn't want to do it the next time.
So you put that in your profile.
Yes, that I was not interested in pumping.
So did you pump as long as you were supposed to, or were?
Yes. They actually decided, so she had some issues, like esophagus issues. And she was spitting up a lot, so they didn't know if it was my milk, and the mom was concerned that it may be like something in my diet.
Ooh.
So, and we can't keep track of what I'm eating because I'm pumping and I am mixing to get the right amount per baggie. So like maybe it was the onions that I had on my pizza at lunch, or maybe it was the bacon that I had for breakfast, or we didn't know, and there wasn't really a way to keep track of it. And then they were just obviously using what was in the freezer. So it was hard to know. She's like, what did you eat 2.5 weeks ago for breakfast? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So they decided at about 3 weeks that they were going to go to formula, that it would just be easier.
Were you supposed to breastfeed longer?
For a month. So we stopped like 3 weeks. I guess I stopped like a week early. The second time I said I would pump, but I said that they had to be willing to accept for a minimum of 2 months. And they had to give me, I wanted like a set amount of notice to stop pumping so I could wean appropriately. Because when you're nursing and your baby just slowly stops drinking as much milk because they're eating food or whatever, you don't get engorged. But when you're just like, one day you're like, I'm not going to pump anymore. My boobs were out to here, and like,
it hurts so
bad.
bad.
They were like 2 giant rocks on my chest, and it hurt. Painful. So yeah, it was. But the second couple didn't want milk because they were like, well, how would we get it to, there's
that would just be an hassle.
Bonjour, send it in the mail.
And you can, and there are people that do mail it, but not internationally. So I have a girlfriend that was mailing from here to Georgia.
Dang.
And she would mail like 300 or 500 ounces at a time.
Oh
like
my God.
Big full boxes.
In like a freezer type box thing. Oh my gosh.
And there's a business. I don't know.
There really is, pretty much.
It's called Prolacta, or Mother's Milk Bank, and they accept milk for preemies. And you have a lot of surrogates that will sell, because they do compensate you for your milk. That will sell their milk to them, and you mail it to them in like freezer cooler boxes.
I wonder if some people do it like because like their agreement, it doesn't have to like give the milk to the parents.
Some parents,
so they're like, I guess I got free milk, might as well make some money.
100%. I have some friends that have been surrogates that, you know, are overproducers and
in the beginning, I'm an overproducer. Show. And then I get over breastfeeding, and then it just kind of
goes away. Like your breasts know, like you hate it, and they're like, okay, I'm done.
They're like, you're not feeling this, I'm not feeling this. Let's quit. Let's quit. Okay.
Yeah. So the second couple, they flew out here to get their baby.
They did.
So they were here for like the birth, and
so I met them. They flew out. They have friends that live here, so they had come out for a vacation, and their friend recommended the clinic and the fertility clinic that we used, and the fertility clinic recommended the agency, and the agency matched us. It was 2 women.
Oh, okay.
Which is a little different. They came out.
Wait, so where did they get the sperm?
They had a donor for both.
Oh, okay. So they didn't even use any of their eggs. Okay.
They did not. In France, it's actually, I don't know if it still is, but at the time, it was illegal for a same-sex couple to do IVF.
Oh, okay.
Which is so crazy. So they could not do... Surrogacy is illegal in most of Europe, actually. Like, it is not like an acceptable thing.
That is so weird. Like, I'm just like, why?
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. So a lot of European couples come to the U.S.
So that's one win for America.
One.
Anyone.
One on the board.
One win. I mean, we might suck everywhere else, but we let you have babies with science.
Yeah. And babies for other people. So,
like, for the longest time, probably years. It's probably at least been since my son's been born. I have wanted to be a surrogate so much. Like, I think the idea of giving someone else a baby is just like probably the most rewarding feeling you could ever have.
It is definitely in my top 4 days of my life.
Like, I don't know if you're a religious person, but I mean, how could you not get in heaven? You give 2 people babies.
Okay, so you have like huge chances to get into heaven.
I'm hoping.
If you didn't earn your spot, there's no hope for me.
I know.
I'm definitely going to HE double hockey stick. This is my only chance. Can I have someone to baby? Maybe. Like, I kind of want to be a surrogate too, so that I can like do an announcement where it's like, I'm pregnant, and then have my son my husband hold a sign saying it's not mine, and then I'm like, it's not mine either. I've seen people do that. I'm just like, yes, scandalous.
Yes. I remember I was cutting hair, and I had a client, and I was like, oh, you know, where do you work? And she told me she worked with my husband. And she looks at me and she goes, I didn't know you guys were having a baby. And I looked down, I'm like, it's not his.
And the look on her face was priceless.
Jaw dropped. My coworker is like about to pee her pants because she is like, I didn't even think about it. I'm like, it's not his. Like, let me keep cutting your hair.
And her brain's over there malfunctioning.
Like, yes. And I'm like, oh, I mean, it's not mine either. I'm a surrogate. And she's like,
all the things that must have been going through her head. She's like, do I tell them?
I know.
Does he need to know? Do I now know secret information?
Yeah.
I definitely snitched.
It was hilarious.
That is
that's so
amazing.
funny.
So the second couple came out at 37 weeks, and then I ended up having him at 39.
So they just stayed, and they were just like, oh, taking the time off, we're staying.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Because they wanted to be here for
well, I had given birth the 2 previous times right at 37 weeks, 0 days with both my daughter and the first surrogacy. So, like, I was like, yeah, I should probably be here at 37 weeks because I've given birth
early 2 times.
Yeah.
Twice. And, like, the second time, my daughter was induced, but the second was, like, a spontaneous.
Just happened.
Sitting on the couch, my water broke, like in a movie.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no, on the couch.
We got it cleaned.
Yeah.
Man, that's rough.
It was bad.
I'm still hoping you can talk my husband into like being
I was going to
team.
say, so then what happened with your husband? So he's totally fine with it, didn't care.
No,
This is my favorite part.
He loves me pregnant.
Okay, he just loves you pregnant. Doesn't matter whose baby it is.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
He
thinks I am my most beautiful when I am
That's
pregnant.
awesome.
I was telling Desiree.
She got a winner.
Like, it's almost like it's a third boob to him. Like, it's like a new curve that he likes to, like, rub the belly and, like, feel the belly. And not in, like, ooh, there's a baby in there kind of way. But, like, look at this new curve on my wife.
Yeah, just skin. Just loving the skin.
It's a whole new curve to him. I actually got boudoir pictures taken one of the pregnancies.
I still really want to see these if you don't mind.
I will show you. I got them on a Sunday and I gave birth on Thursday. Like,
wow, less than a week later.
It was probably that sex they had after the boudoir photos.
I don't
it's probably like you see these cankles.
I don't think we even had sex at that point because there was cankles and there was swollenness and like I was huffing and puffing. Like,
you're like, sure, you want to do it? Fine.
Yeah.
Now that I'm up these stairs.
I'm tired.
Sure.
I'm not going back downstairs now.
So funny. So like, I am curious, like, because obviously the first time there had to be like some moment where you're just like, I want to be a surrogate. What was that for you?
My best friend was a surrogate 9 years ago. And I, talked to her the whole time. And I remember just thinking like how cool that was. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, that's something I might be willing to do. I think that's really cool. And then I had my daughter, and being a mom is 100% like the best thing I've ever done in my life. And just I love being a parent, and I wanted to be able to share that with someone else. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to help someone
that couldn't do it by
themselves. That couldn't do it. Yeah, because my kid is my pride and joy, and I just love her. And
being a parent's a wonderful feeling. And you wanted someone else to have that.
I wanted to be able to share that feeling with someone. And I love getting to see pictures of like the first couple I carried for. They are much more present on social media, so I get to see a lot of family photos of them, and they post lots of pictures of their kids, and I just love like seeing pictures of them as a family and seeing like the four of them together and being like, I did that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I helped complete their family. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's just super cool to see.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Like I'm still pro surrogacy. I would love to do it if my husband was on board.
It is cool. The second pregnancy was really hard for me. My second surrogacy, I was not nice.
Oh my god!
You're like, I was mad.
I was just mad. I was either like crying that I was so mad, or I was crying because I was so sad. Like there was just
You're wasn't like, what a good hormones did this baby have? This baby is going to be. I don't know if it was individual.
Like because I'd never carried a boy before. If like the different hormone level of baby, but like I was just mean. My daughter would look at me and be like, "I don't like mommy that yells," and you're just like, oh, knife to the heart.
You're like, okay, now that I'm emotionally destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Like, it was just hard. And it wasn't fair to my husband or my daughter that I was just cranky all the time. Like, I
guess it's part that you don't think about when you do it.
No, and I was fine. My two previous pregnancies, like, I wasn't like the mean, raging, stereotypical pregnant woman. But this third pregnancy, it was like, you burned my burger, I'm gonna kill you. And my husband's like, oh my god, please.
like walking on eggshells.
Yes.
Because not knowing what's gonna set you off.
And so it was rough for them, and that's not fair to anybody.
So what made you stop it too?
That I was
angry.
The impact that
so you would have done more.
If you were sweet as pie.
To this day, part of me is like, I want to do it again. It is such a cool high, for lack of a better term, seeing a family be made in front of your eyes. Like most people don't get to witness a mother's first time looking at her baby. And I've got to see it twice, knowing I did that.
You were a part of that process.
I was a part of that process.
And I mean, the gratitude that those women must have for you.
100%. Yeah. Like,
I mean, how can you not love the person that made you being a mom possible? I mean, like, how could you not?
Hopefully they like me.
I mean, they picked you.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be, like, a good variety. I mean, it's not like, damn, Slim Pickens, I guess this chick works. You know, like, I doubt it's that.
I hope not.
Fingers crossed that it's not that. I mean, my ideal couple would be a gay couple. Like, a gay,
that was the second time I really wanted to carry for two dads.
That would be awesome.
I thought it would just be a neat dynamic. And instead, I got like the polar opposite. Or not polar opposite, but I got two moms instead.
You're like, wow, I wasn't expecting this one.
It was, cool. It was a little different, but they knew that I wanted, the first time we were so close and I loved that. But the second time I was like, I think I want something less close with the family.
Well, and then being in France is
good. Like the first time my husband agreed, like we definitely wanted to like be friends with the family and see the baby growing up. We weren't sure how we would feel. And then after we had the baby, we're like, oh, we don't actually need to see the baby ever again. Like, I want to see baby one because I love her because I'm friends with her parents and I love her like a niece or like I love your kids. Like, because I'm friends with you, I adore your children. I adore her. There's a little special something extra there. Yeah. Because I like, you know,
birthed her.
My rib still aches from her. Like, but the second time I was like, it could be more businessy and I'm okay with that. And so like having an international couple worked that like we are still friends. We occasionally text each other.
Did you get a trip to France out of it?
Well, I'm assuming no.
I don't know. Like COVID hit like 12 months later. So they have offered to let us come out and stay with them. So it is on
the to-do list.
Our to-do list.
So that means that you haven't seen him since he's been born.
I have not.
Wait, you've seen pictures though?
I've seen photos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've sent pictures. They left when he was like a week and a half old and they flew back to France. So I have not seen him since he was itty bitty. But before they left, I was able to get the first couple I carried for. She came over with their little girl and I was able to get a picture with my daughter and the first surrogate baby I had and then him because like cool. I don't know if I will ever get all three children that I've birthed together in one room again because he does live on the other side of the world. So that was really special to me that I have a photo of.
So you have one child of your
Just one.
Oh, okay.
And she's 7.
I have a very...
I don't know why I thought you had 2.
I have a very deep question that I just gotta know. So typically when you have your own baby, like it's all about giving you your baby first. And you get to hold it. So you're birthing, you go through all this traumatic, whether it's C-section or this, like there's a lot of emotions behind birthing. Right? And then you go through this like final, like it's over with. And then your baby gets, or not your baby, but the baby that you just went through a lot of pain for is put in someone else's hands. They just take it. Like, how did that feel? Like, not like, because you're obviously used to.
The first time we, like, I guess labor, I don't know, we had more time to discuss it. Her and I had discussed a lot of what we wanted labor to look like, who was going to cut the umbilical cord, where baby was going to go as soon as she was, we didn't know whether it was boy or girl, was born. They knew that mom wanted to cut the umbilical cord. They did want to do delayed cutting. So they're like, oh, we'll either hand baby to mom, depending on how long the cord is, or we'll just set her on me on a blanket. Cause I was like, I don't want that goo on me. The second time, apparently we did not discuss nearly in as much detail, and I got skin to skin, and that's not what I wanted. I got skin to skin with a gooey baby.
That wasn't your gooey
that wasn't
baby.
My gooey baby.
I'm just saying, I feel like it hits different when it's your baby, right?
I didn't even want my kid put on me until she had been toweled off. Clean. So like,
you're just like,
I remember.
Why is he on me?
They put him on me, and I look at my husband. I'm like, and he's like, it's okay. You'll shower. And I'm like,
calm down.
I mean, I guess that's just to want your innards on you.
It was, I mean, normally you'd be fine with it, right? Like, it's your baby. It's no big deal. We just hadn't really clearly discussed it that much. But then as soon as the cord was clamped, they took him off. They took the baby. And then the second time, the hospital was not very full. So they actually gave them their own delivery room. So as soon as baby was born and vitals were done, they got whisked off to their own. The 3 of them got to go to their own room, and they got to do skin to skin in the privacy of their room,
That's cool.
Which was great. And then, once the baby's gone, like, there's nobody in there. I don't say they don't care about the delivering mom, but it's a much different thing when you're just there as like just the birther.
Yeah,
they don't even care.
I mean, the nurses still cared about you, right? Like, they still give you your little, like, juice cup.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Your juice cup. They still sewed you up.
I don't get my, like, lemon lime cranberry
for that.
I'm going to be pretty mad.
But I was out of the hospital. I gave birth at 11, and I was out of the hospital. I gave birth at 11 p.m., and I was home by, like, 1. Wow. And that included a stop for Mongolian barbecue.
Oh, shit. I mean, you just had a baby. You could have whatever you want to eat, right?
Yeah. Right. Oh, my gosh.
So there wasn't no, like, weird, like, obviously the baby being put on you. Just like, this is
that was not my thing that I wanted.
I wonder how the moms felt about that.
I think they just had to put him somewhere. Like, when they're born, they have to set him down. Like, the doctors doing other things.
Can't hold him while you do the cord.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like, he just got set down on me. And there was
just a table.
There was not a blanket. And I was like, that's not what I wanted. But, like, in the grand scheme of life, I'm like, I will shower. I have at this time a 4-year-old. I have way grosser things on me.
You kind of allude to it in your story that your husband was there.
He was there at both births.
Okay, because I was about to say that's a pretty, like, traumatic thing. You probably want your own support system, right?
100%. That is a 100%
in
guarantee in the contract.
Yeah, because it's actually, like, why would you go through all that with strangers?
Yeah, it's actually in the contract that if you have to have a C-section and they only allow.
So you had a C-section?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
I did not. I went vaginal both times. But it's in the contract that if you have a C-section, you are allowed your partner.
Oh,
so the parents wouldn't even be able to be in there.
Yes.
Oh.
Which yes.
That's very relieving.
It would be hard. I think the first time
you don't want your body cut open with like
someone
fucking stranger.
I
was vomiting. Like, I don't want this stranger holding my throw-up bag. Like, I don't know you.
I think the first time, had it come to a C-section, I 100% would have let the mom be in there because her and I had become so close that it would have been like my best friend in there. Mm-hmm. But the second time I wasn't as close. One of them I couldn't even speak to because she was not fluent in English. She understood but didn't speak much. Yeah.
Second one was all business then.
I taught one of them was completely fluent in English, but one was not, and so there was no way that I could have or would have been willing to do labor without my husband.
Mm-hmm. So I wonder in COVID times if when you're only allowed out with one person, like, would it be your husband or would they get to be there? I'd probably be the same.
It would be my husband.
Yeah,
because it's as much as it is their baby's delivery, it's
your body.
It is my labor. Mm-hmm. Like. And
I'd be like, I'm sorry, but
normally
I don't want you to hold my hair, like, arm and.
Well, and like, they're not going to take me in the shower because the contractions are really bad and let the hot water hit my back for 2 hours,
all exposed with the little back.
Yeah,
so this kind of stuff is also why they require a supportive husband, right?
Yes,
or partner.
100%.
So you couldn't do it if you were a single person.
You could, yes. You could be single.
If you're in a marriage, but your husband has to be
on board. So she couldn't just become a surrogate, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because
he had to sign. He had to sign the contract at the beginning.
He's like my cock blocker.
So you would have done it a long time ago, but you have to sign the paper.
I'm like, it's my body, my choice, but my husband has to be supportive. Can I just pretend like we're separated?
Then he might get half your money.
Motherfucker. That would suck. Okay, another question. So it kind of alludes into your second topic. So I am curious because I know that like there is some medical stuff that goes behind being a surrogacy. So like they want to know like a little bit of your medical history, this and that. So like obviously for me, a factor would be that like my previous births were C-sections. So like that would be something.
They have a limit on like how many C-sections a doctor will approve.
My question is like, let's say like for me, I have a child with autism. And that happened while it was in my tummy. Like, would that be a factor when I go to be a surrogate?
No.
Like, that wouldn't be something that would impact it?
Nope.
Because I was curious. Because, like, you know, sometimes people have kids with Down syndrome. Like, if your first child was Down syndrome, would you be
typically, if it's genetic, it wouldn't matter because
it's not related to you,
right? It's not related to you.
But they don't really know.
With autism, it's like a lot
less
substantial that it's related to you. You know, Down syndrome can be caused by the age of the mother. But if you have a donor egg, you're getting a donor from a 20-year-old girl because that's whose eggs they want.
So even if you birthed, like, let's say you did have like a Down syndrome baby, like for your own child, and then
it would not necessarily be a disqualifier.
It wouldn't. Okay, because I was curious about like
but the fact
having
that I'm
children
on
with
Prozac, disqualifier.
What?
So I cannot be on Prozac.
But you had that on your...
I was not on it
at the time. So like
okay.
if she wanted to do it now, you'd have...
I would have to get off for 6 to 12 months.
Oh, okay.
Which is not going to happen. So...
No, because I did read the C-section thing. I did read that there's C-section, a limit on how many you can have before you can...
A lot of things that they like, the fertility clinic will approve on is like your BMI needs to be under a specific number.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
And it's actually not... They don't expect you to
not
be
super.
It's not super unattainable.
It is not. It's like
I think it's like 32, which is still considered overweight. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was a pretty high number where I was just like, oh.
Damn, you're telling me I'm too fat to carry someone's baby?
Yeah. You can be too fat. You can. So your BMI is a requirement. And then like being on medication, supportive husband.
Yes.
The C-section limit. So like I think you could have had
issues,
a few.
Yeah. And there's even issues if like you live with a smoker, you can get disqualified.
Oh, and you have to be financially stable. Like you can't be unemployed. You have to have a job.
You have to be financially stable.
Is that because they think you might be doing it for money?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
There's a worry that they would find some impoverished young girl and make her like sell a baby. So if it comes out that like you find out that I'm on food stamps and I'm not making ends meet, did I do this because I wanted to, or did I do this because I was
had no
forced
choice
to?
Yeah.
So then it gets into like a baby selling, which is like not what anybody wants surrogacy to look like at all.
Especially if they're doing it the traditional route, where it's like that definitely
where
could
it could get
baby
iffy,
selly-ish.
So
What are some of the other requirements, or is there any other ones?
Medication.
Then there's
living in a good home, being financially stable.
The BMI thing.
The BMI. There are some things that if you had like the high.
Oh, what is that called? The one with the high blood pressure, right?
Yeah. So if you have preeclampsia, that's a disqualifier.
Oh. Because you might get it again, right?
Because it's probable you'll get it again. My girlfriend had cholestasis, which is where your kidneys get all jacked up when you're pregnant. That's an immediate disqualifier.
What about gestational diabetes? Like, because I know that's sometimes common for women.
It depends. So I've had
it. So preeclampsia is like deal breaker, but
preeclampsia is a deal breaker.
Diabetes, like
gestational diabetes, it's iffy. So I had it all 3 of my pregnancies. I never had to do insulin. I was able to control with my diet. So diet controlled for some clinics is acceptable. Some clinics would say no.
I'm kind of worried then. Because I didn't have preeclampsia, but I got induced because of high blood pressure. But I never got diagnosed with preeclampsia. I had my blood pressure was perfect my second pregnancy.
Crazy.
No, it was literally stress induced. Like the way I was carrying my daughter, they made me lay down too long, and I thought I was gonna pass out. And I was like, of course my blood pressure is high. I thought I was gonna fucking die. I told you I needed to get up. You don't fucking listen. Of course my blood pressure's up here. Thought I was gonna fucking die. Whose wouldn't be up there? Anyways.
You went through a lot too with your first
my first pregnancy was
you did.
Not pregnant, labor. I didn't mind being pregnant. Like I feel like it was just like a living. People were extra nice to me.
Right?
Like it wasn't miserable or anything. Like some of these people are like, hey, babe. I'm like, I'm just like living my life, and I'm just getting fat.
Yeah.
It's the only downside.
You have a reason to be fat, so you can wear a 2-piece bathing suit.
Totally.
Rock it.
Right?
Perfect excuse to be fat.
It is.
It's like, because it's a baby.
That's why I did that boudoir shoot, because it's never going to happen with this belly that has now had 3 children.
So you look really good for having 3 babies.
I will say that's probably the suckiest part is going out in public like a week after you've delivered and you look 6 months pregnant still, and people are like, when are you due? And you're like, I had a baby a week ago.
But you have no baby.
But you have no baby. So like when you have a brand new baby and you're like, oh, we got to go to Walmart to get diapers for that first time. Everyone's like, brand new baby, a little bit of belly, brand new baby. When you don't have a baby, people are like, what is wrong with that lady?
You're like, wow, she carries her weight all in her stomach.
Or the people that would like randomly ask my daughter, like at the bank, oh, are you going to be a big sister? And I'm like, please don't ask her that. She's little and doesn't even understand what I'm doing.
Yeah.
which is very specific to our situation. So I never ask kids now if they're going to have a sibling because I'm like, I don't know.
Now you're about to give them all some kind of complex.
Yeah.
And be like, where's my sister?
I was very nervous about the daycare kids because I think the first time was before your kids started coming. But one of the girls at daycare is not that much younger than, or not much older than my surrogate baby. So when like I started having a belly, all the kids were like, Everly, you're going to have a brother or sister just like this kid. And thankfully our daycare provider was like, oh, you know, no, she's carrying a baby for her friend. But the kids were like, no, mom has a belly. You get a sibling.
Yeah.
That's life.
You get a baby.
But then that family actually ended up, she was a surrogate as well.
Oh.
So
I remember that. And she was a surrogate around the time you were a second surrogate, right?
Yeah, I think right before.
And that one was for her legit friend, right?
Yeah, like friend. Like,
yeah. See all these people giving other people babies. I'm so jealous.
Someday.
Just want to give someone a baby.
Someday.
Just want it so bad. I just don't want it to be mine. Like,
you have to be pregnant though.
I
don't love being pregnant. So
I didn't mind it. Pregnancies were
I feel like it was
chill.
just kind of like I was existing and you know, it was kind of having to go to
think
doctor's
if
appointments.
I didn't get gestational diabetes, it'd be a lot easier. But
How many times did you get it?
Gestational diabetes? All three.
All three? Shit, did I miss that?
Yeah, so
Dang.
with my daughter, I was diagnosed at like
So if you had a
28 weeks.
So if you had a fourth one,
It's
high chance.
High chance.
I'm surprised I didn't get gestational diabetes. Well, because my mom's a diabetic, I was like, I'm for sure.
So
gonna
that's
get that
like
bullshit.
predisposition, and I don't have anyone in my family that has diabetes. I'm not like any of the
just those pregnancy hormones.
Just pregnancy hormones.
If I can just get another pregnancy like my son's, his was perfect. It was just like so easy. My daughter, like I was just so puffy. My nose grew 5 sizes, like I was fucking Pinocchio. Like it was ridiculous. Just like
I get
swollen feet, swollen
I'm the
everything.
opposite. I get really sick at the beginning. I lost 20 pounds with my daughter.
Oh my gosh.
In the first trimester.
That sounds awful.
Yeah. With all of them, I'm not like, I don't.
So you're just prone to morning sickness.
I get morning sickness, and they've all been different. Like with my daughter, I was sick. Everything I ate, I got sick after eating. With the second one, it was like, I didn't want to eat because I was nauseous, but if I did, then I would get sick. And with the last one, like I just didn't want to eat, but I never got sick. I just was nauseous all the time.
Nothing
like
sounded good. Just
it was
would
just
upset
weird
your
how
stomach.
like each pregnancy was like drastically different. But I'm the only person I know that is skinnier after I give birth, like almost.
That's awesome.
That's like,
But it comes right back though.
Awesome.
Mainly because we leave the hospital and I go get Mongolian barbecue.
now it's just a tradition.
Now I want Mongolian barbecue.
Well, when I'm pregnant, I can't have it because when I have gestational diabetes, so there's no noodles.
Oh, the pasta's like turns straight to sugar.
Yeah,
Right?
and you can't have a lot of Asian food. The sauces are sugar based.
Oh my god, that sounds awful. The best part about being pregnant is eating whatever you want.
And I don't ever get that. So it kind of ruins some of the pregnancy points when I'm like,
Sounds like it. I'd be pretty bad.
I don't get alcohol. I don't get cake.
No brownies.
No brownies. Certainly no brownies with marshmallows on them. It's
Pretty intense.
it's a lot of meat.
A lot of meat. A lot of protein.
A lot of cheese. Lots of
Okay. So let's do some bull questions. Oh, what's this
Yay.
mammoth one?
It's a long one.
God. Public speaking. Awful.
Says the girl with the podcast.
There's no one here. It's just me, myself, and my Christmas tree.
Right? Big ass Christmas tree.
It says, would you rather vomit uncontrollably for 1 minute every time you hear a happy birthday song or get a headache that lasts for the rest of the day every time you see a bird, including a picture of a bird or a video?
I feel like I just wouldn't go to birthday parties.
Yeah, if I knew the happy birthday. Like,
happy
or I
birthday.
would leave before
bye.
cake.
I'm going to go.
I wouldn't want to leave before cake.
Well, what about you like go outside where you don't hear
outside
it?
while they do
Yeah.
happy birthday.
Yeah, I
I
would
mean, could
skip.
you imagine every time you see a bird? Headaches suck.
Vomiting?
I have.
Vomiting's the worst.
No, because if I vomit, I'm going to pee. So I am going to take the bird thing because I can take some
vomit.
Advil.
I'm hoping I'll just lose weight.
Yeah, well, there's that.
I'm kidding.
Can I get
I'm
skinny?
kidding.
You're like, someone sing happy birthday. I need to lose 5 pounds. Okay, you just changed my mind. I would love to vomit when I hear happy birthday. Hello, bulimia.
I'm going to be skinny.
Happy birthday made me thin. It's the best diet.
Yeah.
Answer changed.
I'm just going to play it all the time.
Here you go.
Oh, gosh.
Let's see what you get. This is pretty funny. Normally we start with like a super depressing one.
Right.
This one was ridiculous.
It really was ridiculous. I really would just leave every time they went to say happy birthday. Like,
it would be easy to like avoid.
Yeah.
It would be really
out, but
easy.
you can't avoid a bird. How are you going to avoid a bird?
You know, I am terrified of birds. So
I don't like birds.
But TV, pictures.
When I was 3, a bird tried to attack me and tried to peck out my eyeballs.
Was it a blue jay?
No, it was a rooster.
I would.
I hate
my
roosters.
dad killed it.
Ooh, they're mean.
Hate
it
roosters.
was mean.
I don't like roosters or like
I know.
geese.
I know.
Like
geese are mean.
Yeah, like the mean birds. The mean birds. I don't like any of those.
But I am now like terrified of birds.
I mean, can't blame you.
I know.
We would not. What does your depressing question says? I just know it.
It's because I always pick the depressing.
I just know it.
No, it says, when have you been the most happy?
Oh, that's not depressing at all.
Oh,
I really normally pick like life-altering questions.
she really does.
I really
like,
do.
Where you have
Like
to
super
just
deep.
sit down
We
and
all
think
cry.
about your life. I don't know. Someone else go first. Like, I feel like if I could like name your saddest moment, bam, got it. Happiest moment, hold on. When have I been happy?
I feel like there's been a lot of like, I mean, obviously, like when you have your children, like those are like the happiest moments, even though you're exhausted and your vagina just got ripped open. Super happy moment, right? I mean, and then everybody's waiting on you hand and foot.
I mean, I guess I kind of have one that like is basically that, but the first time my daughter met my son,
Oh, that's
like
sweet.
that moment was really, really special.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't want anyone to meet him until Ellie could meet him.
Oh, that's
like
cute.
that was so important to me. I didn't want anyone to come visit me until she met him.
That's cool.
And it was so cute when she met him. Like it was a very like, oh my God, my heart loves both of you.
That's what I mean, though. There's so many happy moments. I feel like I can't pick just one. There's just
Maybe
so
it's
many.
because there's more happy moments than there are like
Totally.
the devastating ones where it's like, how do you pick just the best happy moment?
Because you know your devastating moments.
Yeah, I feel like that Yelp review analogy. You're always gonna leave a bad Yelp review for the happy one. You don't, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, like I liked it, but I don't want to go out of my way.
Yeah. But if you're mad, you're like, oh,
Yes,
I'm
I'm
writing this
going,
review.
right?
Yes. Yes.
I would actually say hearing my daughter's heartbeat.
Aw.
Like for the first time, I remember just sitting in the doctor's office and just like sobbing.
Especially the first time, right?
The first time, and like we waited until I was 28 when we got pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I feel like we'd waited a long time, and I was like really, really, really ready.
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely like hearing her little heartbeat for the first time.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, I don't have one. Sorry, guys. I just have a good handful of happy
Like
moments.
gun to your head, can't think of it.
Yeah. Really.
Well, that's all for today's episode of Sippin and Dishin. Thank you, Becky, for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please go rate, review, or subscribe. Thanks for listening. Until next time. Bye.